I'd like to call to order the meeting of the DDA, Tuesday, April 16th at 6 p.m. We need to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Mr. Miller, will you take the roll?
Yes. Denise Stabler.
Here.
Mark Jacobs, Mayor Jacobs.
Here.
Dr. Hyder. Didn't get a call. Ghassan Khalaf, he did ask to be excused.
Okay.
Randy Walker.
Here.
Mike Berry.
I think we expect him. He's got a class before this.
Okay. Alex Baydoun.
Here.
Lori Walconis.
Present.
Rick Bazzi.
Present.
And Dr. Nasruddin.
Present.
Okay. So we have a quorum.
Yes.
All right. Next item is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Do we have support?
Support.
Alex is supported. And all those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. What do we have? 7-0. Okay. Do we have any presentations tonight, Matt?
No.
Okay, no presentations. Next is community events. Anything there?
No.
All right. Oh, absolutely. Come on up, Jackie.
Garden City Business Alliance, Jackie Pettigrew. We're doing a business-to-business open house, if you will. So it's services. If I'm a bookkeeper, what service can I offer your company? So it's open to the public, it's open to residents as well as businesses. It's May 13th over at the Radcliffe Center, and it'll be from 11 to 3. So you can come learn about the different services and things and such, or if you would like a table to share your business, you could email gcbatreasurer1@gmail.com. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have public comments for agenda items only. Anyone from, okay.
I just wanted to touch base real quick on a couple of things you have on your action items. The first being the office closure. I know there's stuff going on with the orange buildings downtown, but I would like at least to see if the office is going to be here in City Hall, that it be open and accessible to the public. Where that office is now, nobody's going to see it, it's hidden away. Possibly that area across from the city clerk's office would be perfect for a DDA. The other thing is the storage container purchase. I'm just wondering if anybody has spoke to Gary Carter. I understand that you recently approved another 3-year contract for Gary, so this is something that he's going to have to deal with on a regular basis. Just want to make sure that he's not going to have any issues getting to them, that sort of thing, because a lot of times that's after hours or on weekends. And last but not least is the RFQ for your legal services. I'm pretty sure that Joe Kuberg, I always pronounce his last name wrong, so forgive me, that his firm submitted a bid. I worked with Joe for 12 years. His firm's very reasonable in their pricing. He never let us wrong, ever, not once. So I hope that you give his firm good consideration and that you don't go down the path of paying more for something that we don't need to pay more for. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else for comment? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to items for consideration. First, we have the consent agenda. Do we have a motion for consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay,
Support. Don't be bashful, guys.
All right. All those in favor of the consent agenda, aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And next we come to action items. And first there we have the 24-25 budget. So with that, I think Matt,
Yes. Good evening, Ms. Stavely and members of the DDA. I have in here under item 8BI, the upper right-hand corner, if you'll go through, so it's 8A, and then you'll see 8BI. And this is a proposed, what we're calling Fund 248, which is the Downtown Development Authority. And in there, if you'll see at the top, and this, it's got different colors, and it's green bar, so it's green and white, kind of what the gray and the white depict. And you'll see at the top, which is what our estimated revenues is. And this is a 2-year budget, but we're approving a 1-year. So the council had asked that we kind of project out a 2-year cycle so that we can kind of guesstimate, you know, what would come before us in the next 2 years and go from there. The biggest item, of course, we see is the total estimated revenues, which is $678,000. This is a kind of a culmination, I couldn't think of the word, of how the tax revenue is generated in the DDA. So it's a TIFA, so that we have a snapshot of when the values were captured, and then the DDA is capturing all of the values going forward. And so the assessing department puts together really what the tax capture will be, and then also it includes some interest from some of the funds that we have, and it goes from there. Then as we go down to appropriations, we then kind of follow down each line, and we put in a request, or I guess the best estimate that we have to go forward. For example, postage, equipment maintenance. We were looking at kind of what was spent in the past and what is going forward. Streetscape repairs, we have a line item there so that we have some money that is put aside for repairs that are necessary. For example, we had the light that was hit, and the insurance covers most of it. We do have to pay the deductible, $1,000 deductible. Those kinds of things, it's a placeholder so that we can make sure that we have the funds to do so. Legal services, the contractual professional, that will include, of course, any projects that we are paying for outside of the streetscape repairs. Those are, again, we can look at going to use the money for a study, a fund that. Also, if we have staff, instead of like John Prosh would be paid from contractual professional, which is 801, something like that. So a contractor would be paid via that. And then as we go down, where am I, 801, an administration fee, DDA, and again, those are the costs that we are paying to have the work done by the city, those things that are covered via that. Phone, any meetings and workshops that I would attend, or anybody else would like to attend on behalf of the DDA. Some transportation costs, of course. The agreement, the contractual agreement between the DDA and the city, that is at 860.300, support staff City Hall. Any printing and publishing that will come forward. Our insurance, like I spoke about our incident that happened, of course, we have to have that covered, and that's covered via a cost to the MMRMA, the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority.
so that's a monthly premium that we pay to them?
Yes.
Okay.
Then utilities at $12,000, and then maintenance and DDA improvements, that's through Gary Carter. And we have publicity and promotions, memberships and dues, and then again, any capital outlays for any office equipment or that's blank. And then facade improvements, the $5,000 there, bringing us a total of what we have at the bottom for our projected costs for the next year.
Okay. How much did we put out this year in the facade improvements? Like, do we have enough in that line item? Should we have more?
We do, if you'll see, the activity before it was $2,000, before you see to the left of there,
Okay,
so.
all right.
And part of what I want to do is, of course, review that. We always have the ability to make them, the budget is just to budget and go forward. We still have the right to make amendments to it as we go through the year. And I really haven't gotten into the facade improvements, but if we want to see it increase, change the program, anything like that. Hi, Mr. Berry. And then we can make those changes as we go forward. The total appropriations, $363,900 is where we're at. And then, of course, we are trying to look at kind of building back our reserves to see if we, need to accumulate a little more funds in case we want to work on a larger project. So.
Okay. All right.
Part of the process, of course, is that the DDA will make a recommendation to the city council, and then the city council will, they're the final say in the DDA budget, but the recommendation will be taken seriously from the board to the DDA, or to the city council, so that you kind of know the process. I will, on the 29th, be giving a budget presentation to the council. I'm kind of the last one because I wasn't here, so I'm kind of an outlier. I'll be the only one on the agenda, and then they'll be talking about other things too. So, but again, it is a recommendation will be taken from here and then to the city council, and then they'll make the final recommendations in May on their meeting.
Okay. All right. Do we have any further discussion on the budget from the table?
I move to approve it.
Okay. So we have a motion on the table by Mark to approve the budget. Do we have support?
Support.
By Lori Walkonis. And all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That's going to be 8-0 because Mr. Berry has arrived. Okay, next item on the agenda is the GCBA Music in the Park sponsorship. So we have Matt printed another copy of the sponsorships and what those include. We'll start on the second page of the additional handout that he put there.
Also, I don't know if this would be helpful or not, but in the last year, we did three $200 sponsorships, $1,200 in 2022 and $1,000 in 2021. So it was 600, 1,200, and 1,000 going backwards.
For the GCBA?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Can you mention those numbers again?
2023 was 600, 2022 was 1,200, and 2021 was 1,000.
Okay. 200?
It was only two? Because I checked at the finance department and they said they made three $200 payments, three $200 payments. Okay. I don't know then.
Okay. All right, so last year was 200, but previous years we had 1,200 and 1,000. Okay. So I guess our options here are, the lowest is 200. We could do 750, 1,200, or 2,000.
I think we should go with either the 750 or the 1,200, whatever
Okay.
the board wants to do.
I say we go the middle of the road, 1,200. Not the cheapest,
Okay.
in my opinion.
All right. Any other input from the board? Okay. Somebody want to make a motion for,
I'll make a motion to sponsor $1,200 for music in the park.
okay, do we have support?
I'll support it.
Support.
I heard Alex here first on the support. All those in favor of a $1,200 sponsorship for the GCBA? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 8-0 for a $1,200 contribution. Next item is the office closure. Matt, do you have anything specific on the office closure?
I don't really have that, you know, we were requested to put that on and go forward. And one thing I did want to mention specifically about it is that anything that, any of the equipment or anything in there that we could salvage or use here at City Hall, we would bring here. I did speak with the largest item we pay for is the copier, and that is, we pay quarterly for that. And I did find a home for it. The police department had actually talked to Toshiba needing another copier. And I spoke with the police chief, and we could find a home for it there, so we wouldn't have to buy a new one for there. We would get out of the lease, and then the police would pick that up.
Oh, okay, so then they would be
Which is
holding the
a good
contract.
thing. If not, we would be responsible for the remainder of the contract and have to pay for it, whether we did or not.
Do you know how long that would have been for?
It was it wasn't 63 months, it was 5 years, and that was a couple of years ago, so we'd have a couple more years to go.
Okay,
I was surprised by that. I was like, can we just turn this back? And
right,
they would hold us to the contract,
okay.
is what I was told from Toshiba. And if we tried to get out, they would still work on getting the money from us, I guess, is what I was told. And then anything that we couldn't use, I just thought that we would donate to a charity of like the DDA, which is actually being of the city. We have to donate to like agencies, so it would have to go to another 501c3 kind of operation. We can't give to just anybody walking down the street. Anything like that, we would have to, of course, take that and go with the other nonprofit that would be available. Part of the office closure too is we will have to have somebody move things also. We'll have to figure that out. I don't know, if it's 2 men in a truck or if it's, I don't know. I'm too old to lift things. But those kinds of things, the logistics of all of that would have to occur. Also the phones, our internet, all that would have to be stopped. And then
Are we under contract for any of those, or is
no,
it just
we can just stop.
monthly?
We can stop all of that. We'd also have to give notice to the landlord. We're really on a month-to-month, but we do need to formally do so also. And and the other thing I thought of, really is the sign. We will have to bring the sign into compliance. If we're not there, we don't want anybody to think it's there, so we'll have to remove the sign, put in probably a blank canvas or a blank panel. So.
Okay. All right, any other discussion from the table on the office closure?
Also, it was mentioned that a spot for the public. We're working on trying to figure that out, but I do sit in the back, and it was really kind of a former storage area that they made an office. So we're working on that. The staff, through the whole veterans banners, we've had kind of a key spot, but we're working on a public front would be probably the building department. The clerk's office is just too iffy. Of course, if it's election time, you can't get near the counter, and we want it to be a little more serviceable. It is, kind of a temporary solution. We're trying to figure that out, but we did, for the banners, we did use the clerk's department. I directed everybody there, and then, of course, told the staff how to handle them, and of course, I'm here. I can come out in a second too. So.
Okay,
And I did go off into the counter.
okay,
So.
all right.
So to piggyback off of that, speaking with the city manager, we can probably put up some signage over by the building department that will reference where the new DDA office is, so they will get service at all times. If Mr. Miller is not there, they can reach out to him, send him an email. We'll still have a public front for them to talk to somebody to get to Mr. Miller.
Okay. Do we have a motion relative to the office closure?
I would say since we have some, for moving the furniture or figuring out exactly what, I'd like to make a motion that we give notice, and then June 1st, we're out, or May 30th, last day of May.
Okay,
I second that.
okay. So we have a motion on the table to give notice to the landlord for moving the office out of the current building and into the city offices. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Next item is...
One moment, I
oh.
didn't get the second, who made the support? Mr.
Barry.
Bader, or
Alex.
Mr. Bader? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. You're okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next item is the storage container purchase.
I just put that on there. One of the things that, we have to find a place to put all of the storage, everything that's in storage, and I thought we could get a storage container, and they're running about $2,500. So the DDA policy is not that it would have to come before us, but I did want you to know about it. There's I guess I didn't realize what a storage container is. They have all these different kinds you can buy. You can get a Cadillac almost, and then they have ones that are what they consider wind and water tight, and they're kind of middle of the road. You pay for it, and then you pay for a moving fee also to get it located to the DPW yard. I did talk to the DPW director about that, about access. We're working on that. I talked to Gary. I spent actually about 4 or 5 hours with Gary. I want to, meet him, and I've met him before, but really, figure out what he was doing. So we did that. We talked all about that. We went down. We did not go down with him to see the site. I just went with the DPW director and one of the people that wanted to sell us a container. And but it would be really located behind there. They're 40 feet long, and they're 8 feet wide. You can get a high wall one. I thought we would get a high wall just so that we could store things taller. Even though you think 40 feet by 8 is a lot, it really isn't, because you have to walk through the middle of it to get to everything. So I'm concerned we'll have enough space to put everything in there. I also talked to Gary about kind of what he feels we don't need to put in there, what doesn't need to move, those kinds of things. We have also a bunch of old light pieces that I'm going to try and, I contacted CGE, who's our current, and they didn't seem too interested in it. But Holophane was a representative from before. Maybe they may be interested to see if they would buy them back, or I don't want to throw them out. They just seem, I don't know if they have value, but they probably have scrap value. I mean, they're metal and all that. So, but I did try to address, getting what we need, getting it stored, making sure that it's wind and water tight, and that it would be an accessible spot. And actually, it's on pavement. It actually seemed pretty nice back there. So the police department does have a shipping container also that evidence is stored in, and it would be kind of in that same area. It is monitored, cameras, all of that too.
So do you think we would only need one of those units for everything that we have?
I'm hoping.
Okay.
We'll find out when we get to the end if their stuff is sticking out the other side. So one of the things that take up a lot of room are the pylons. I'm trying to figure out what to do with those pylons. So I don't know how tall we can stack them or something like that. So
Okay.
Do pylons need to be in storage?
they really don't, but my concern is if they're out, then maybe they'll deteriorate, or they'll get mixed in with all the other pylons over there. So I want to see what we can do about that.
Yeah, I know DPW has special ones. They're got the reflectors on it, and they're more specific to what they need for road closures and stuff like that. Where are we storing everything right now?
It's stored in I kind of call it the former Plato's building.
which
Which
we're not
is-
supposed to be storing stuff there, right?
Yes, we shouldn't have storage downtown.
Okay. Any other discussion on acquiring storage container?
I would like a motion, to authorize the purchase at
Yes.
the lowest, the lowest bid that I can get.
Okay, that was the next thing. So do we have a motion for Matt to purchase the storage container?
I'll give a motion for him
Okay,
to purchase it.
that's by Alex. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Next, we have the RFQ legal services to discuss.
So I did, I put together, and it is in your packets, the, under 9, no, I'm sorry, 8V, 8B.
8BV.
V, which is 5. I put together that little chart so that you could all see, where is it? I hope it's in here now.
It is after
It
the
is.
budget.
Okay, all
It's
right,
right-
thank you, after the budget, thank you. And so I put that just so you could all see who had submitted, kind of their experience, and then also what their costs would be, and if they required a retainer. So as I combed through each one of those, and just so that you would know exactly kind of where they're at, and you could see everything on one page. Everyone did have, reasonable experience. One did not. One wanted to gain that, and I just didn't feel that that was, I don't think we need to select somebody
Yeah,
that wants
that-
to gain and learn from us.
That would have no
We should learn
consideration,
from the
correctly.
lawyers usually. So, and then also, I did request that people submit to me. We did receive a couple, one from Lori Wilconis, that she felt that either Pentiac, Corvier, and Cabill-Jack, or Jeffrey Crate would be acceptable for our needs. And then Randy Walker also did contact me and did like the Kelly firm. It wasn't the cheapest, wasn't the most expensive, but did have a lot of municipal experience, and especially, in the TIF and municipal authorities and zoning.
Yeah, so my concern with the Jeffrey Kratt, there's not a lot of depth with additional attorneys there, that if there was something that we needed that required a lot of work, that they would have to reach out to other attorneys outside the firm, because he's the only attorney in the firm there. I thought the Kelly firm had a lot of depth there with several attorneys within the firm that have all of that experience as well. To me, Dickinson Wright and Miller Canfield were just way too expensive. Yeah, they got a great portfolio, but it's just a lot of money. So, do we want to have any further discussion about whether we go with the Kelly firm, Kratt, or Pentiac?
I reached out to Orion Township. I met the township supervisor, who is technically their mayor, and I asked him what he thought of the Kelly firm. And I just mentioned the Kelly firm, and he went off on just how good they were, and they were really good for them. Reasonable, they didn't overcharge, they never took advantage of anything. As far as our previous attorney, I think we got some bad information from him as far as the no-bid contract and the CGE contract that, he told us we should take because 2 people had already signed for it. So I think we did get some bad information from them. Fortunately, we didn't face any lawsuits, so I would go with Kelly firm would be my pick.
Okay. Any other?
I do, I just need a moment.
Okay. Do we have any other discussion from this side of the table?
I was surprised at kind of the, you know, the two, just as you said, were so high. I mean, double and plus what everyone else was. I was surprised by that, how far of a disparity there was. Just was
Yeah,
my
for
2
the
cents as
hourly
I was
rate,
reading it.
Miller, Canfield, and Dickinson, they're way too expensive.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're two of the bigger firms in the area as well. And like I said, I thought that, you know, the Kratt Law Firm just doesn't have any depth there to lean into if there's anything, you know, additional. And, you know, the previous firm has 3 attorneys, but I think with Kelly, there's like 6 or 7 at least, you know, that have experience in all the municipal stuff in DDA.
You know, I threw out the same 3 that obviously everybody else did, but Kelly was not at the top of my list. There's a lot there, isn't there?
You mean a lot of attorneys or a lot of information?
Probably more than what we need to know, right? Let me just ask this question. How many times when we did use an attorney in the past, did we need multiple attorneys? Did we have
Well, I'm
multiple?
assuming if there's like a large, you know, issue, like if we're
Well-
being sued for something, you may have to have, you know,
Well, we had a
support.
lawsuit here, right? So what,
yeah, but I don't know if that was the firm that was being used at the time.
but do we know how many attorneys we used? And was that a one-off?
I do
So
not.
do we need 10 attorneys on staff?
Well, you have one point person. Like, there's one point
Here's-
person.
Here's a point and
that
here's a
you're dealing
point.
with.
But you didn't like them because it was 1 point. And here you can have 10 or 20 attorneys. And I'm asking, if that's what you like about this, do we even need that?
Well, I'm just saying it's there if it's needed. If we go to, like, Kratt, you only have one attorney and then he's got to outsource for other work.
Go ahead, John.
I just want to add your comment because I have history here. 16 years, I think we use the same attorney, but not multiple attorneys within the same firm. So it's been pretty low level line. Last year's budget was budgeted for $2,000. We've only spent $900 of that in the fiscal year. So our need for an attorney specifically with DDA has been rather low overall over quite a long period of time. I think the last time we actually used an attorney in a big fashion was in '99. So, and then just remember that you're not married to any of these firms unless you want to be. They're not making you a retainer. There's no contract to sign. It's just what the board's preference of an attorney firm is. Therefore, you can, you know, move forward using firm A, but at any time you could, you know, look at a different firm as well. So, I think you're looking at cost, but you're also looking at experience, right?
Yeah, and for experience, I would keep who we have. I know Mayor Jacobs has an issue. The rest of us didn't see it that way, other than maybe Randy Walker. So I would keep him. Personally, this is really the best second choice, and I really don't think you're giving him an honest shot. Professionalism alone, if you're gonna hire an attorney, all you business people at the table, or hire somebody to do a job for you, where's the professionalism?
I got one that completely came apart from the binding as well. So, I mean, it happens.
It was sent this way.
To be honest with
Didn't
you,
happen. It
to
was
be
sent
honest with
this
you, that
way.
was my second choice right there, the one you're holding in your hand.
And what was your first choice?
That would keep the original attorney, but I have no prior history. I have no idea why we're replacing the original attorney until the mayor said we had a couple incidents in the past. Now, my curiosity, what kind of incidents? Can they be fixed, or they were very damageable where they cannot be fixed? You don't understand my point? I mean, I'm trying to find out why. If we already have an existing attorney and he's been within the city for a long time, and we're happy with this attorney unless there's a reason behind it.
I would just say, I'll go back to the CGE contract that he recommended that we go with a no-bid contract. He wrote our bylaws that stated that you have to put out for bid a contract. Then he came to the board here and said, you don't. And then he said we should take that because the former DDA director and former chairman signed a paper. I think that was bad advice. I think it opened us up to a large lawsuit potentially.
Okay.
Fortunately, we didn't get sued. But there's no excuse for not having a no-bid contract for $1 million project.
I mean, obviously, when you hire an attorney, you want to make sure they protect you, not to make mistakes, because some mistakes cannot be fixed. And if
He
make
wrote the
mistakes,
policy, and then he,
especially within the city, you don't want someone to defend you, and they're not standing on a strong ground. So,
that's my point. He wrote the policy that said you have to put it out for bid, and then he came in and recommended that we were good.
okay.
There was also an interpretation on there that also stated that if the board, as a board, wanted to move forward jointly, all of us, that we could do that. And that was a stipulation in there. And so we did move forward with that. Mr. Jacobs joined the board after the decision was made, so he wasn't part of that culmination of votes.
Are we locked into this attorney? Do we have to put him in contract?
No, no, we
Can
can.
we just reverse it anytime we want to?
Well, we should name our main attorney.
That's what I'm saying. So my question is are we locked into an attorney if we name one today?
I would think so.
So,
I mean, that's the one
you mean
we're
if we
gonna,
pick someone right now, we're not locked into, to
Do
go
we have
with
to sign
them?
a contract with them, or is it just that we?
no,
unanimously
there's
agree?
no retainer, so it's
John said
who
there's
we
no
choose
retainer,
to
so there's no
use.
contract. Whoever you pick, you can pick, and then you can
It'll
always,
just be next
Up
time we need,
top.
he knows that's the person to call.
Right.
But for as much as we actually use an attorney for something, as John stated, it's so infrequent, as you can see from the budget, of how much we spent on attorney, that
nothing.
whoever we would choose would inevitably be here for quite some time, right? Because the issue doesn't arise. So it would be hard to judge as well. Geez, how good is he? We haven't needed him, so he's terrific.
Whereas the previous one, we had realized we needed to change them.
Well, not all of us feel that way.
Let's take a vote.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a
for the
motion
legal services?
to hire the Kelly firm as our attorney.
Do we have support?
Support.
Support.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed?
Opposed?
Motion passes 7-1.
You didn't have 7 yeas, just so you know.
Who was missing?
Well, I heard Randy. I heard,
Okay. Do you vote yay,
Yes.
oh, no, he does.
Dr. Nazardine? Were you a yes or no?
On the Kelly firm.
Let me go on the Kelly firm again. Why are you picking the Kelly firm again?
Their rates are fair,
Okay,
$30 more an hour.
okay.
I also reached out to one of their references, which is Orion Township, who I know their township supervisor / mayor. He had nothing but praise for him, very positive. All I did was ask, what do you think of him? I didn't say anything else. He had nothing but praise. So
Okay.
based on the price and the recommendation, that's what I would go with.
I
Maybe,
noticed one thing about them, they don't have an administration fee where the company, the attorneys, what we picked, what was my second choice, they have 2% administration fee added. So add up basically to the same cost. So it's apple to apple, basically.
for cost.
Yes, because this is 150 per hour plus 2% administration fee.
Well, since there was only one attorney that was actually checked for references, I think it'd be a good idea to table this and look at the references.
We
and
already
make
have a
those-
motion on the table and a support, so
Then I'll
we're taking a
support
vote. Okay.
I
Randy
don't.
was yay. Everyone, okay. Motion passes 7-1. Next, we have the
Mark Jacobs, who you
June,
want,
July
and we'll-
2024 combined meeting.
I wanted to request that we would combine the June and July meeting to be on the 25th. I'm not available on the 18th, but often for July, we don't get quorums in many boards or commissions, and I just thought maybe we would be able to combine it and take care of any business there, or then we would move to the August meeting. So,
Okay. So do we have a motion for adjusting the June meeting to June 25th and covering June and July?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do we have support?
I'll
Okay.
support, doesn't matter.
We had support from Rick Bozzi. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Next, we have other business. Matt, you've got the Mishta Housing Readiness Grant.
yes, I have good news for the city, and I had a 7-week leave of absence, but I did, during that time, was made aware of a grant that was out there for housing readiness, they call it, from Mishta, and they released the program actually beginning January 16th, and then it was like they were going to give out grants till it was all done. And so I thought we need to get on it, so I was off. I worked on putting a narrative together to see if we would be eligible to receive the grant. It's a $45,000 grant with a $5,000 match for what Mishta is calling housing readiness. And so what it will be is it's funds, it's really for a master plan update, but it would include, of course, the downtown, but all of the city, looking at housing and kind of the future housing needs of kind of our region, our city, looking at affordability, density, different housing types. I mentioned specifically to the council about eco housing, elderly care housing options, senior assisted living, in-law suite on a house. Those things actually are not permitted by our ordinance now. And so part of the master plan review would be to, of course, review the master plan, do the update, and then also include those, a review of those kinds of things that we're looking into the future. Also, of course, Garden City is traditional in many fashions, and single-family houses were majority single-family houses. And, maybe in the future, I don't know, maybe somebody else will be able to tell us, but, kids today maybe aren't going to buy a single-family house and have a grass and a yard and all of that. They may want to live in a two-family flat or have somebody else mow the lawn or anything like that. And part of the housing readiness grant is to, of course, look at our housing types, and then also make recommendations via the master plan and the zoning ordinance. And then part of my proposal was also to do an infill housing study, and that would be part of the work that would be done by the consultant to look at where we can put more housing in our community. Garden City, of course, we're landlocked. We can't grow anymore, and so it would be good to look at how we could utilize the land better and increase the values throughout the community, and of course attract more families, more people to live in our community, and in turn, of course, that will support the businesses and in turn support the schools also. So I thought it was a great opportunity to get $50,000 in essence, $45,000 and $5,000 match that's being covered by the city to update the master plan and get it paid for by a grant. And so at the city council, when I wrote this, I had to say I was assuming they would approve it, and of course, they did approve accepting the grant. And then McKenna and Associates is our, by contract, planning consultant, and part of their contract is to do special projects as the city sees fit, and they would continue and go forward with that. I did work with John Jackson, who is the principal at McKenna, and we're going to get together to establish a timeline and also pick the planners that are working there to work on the project. So there's no action, but I do want to tell the DDA about it, and then of course there will be public meetings to come and give your input in, and I would like anybody on the board, anybody of course in the city is welcome, but the board specifically to come and take a look and see how the master plan is coming for housing readiness in the city.
Okay, thanks for doing that. All right, next item is the banner update.
Yes, the banner update. Our Hometown Heroes banners, we had 40 banners that we could do, and we are at capacity. And even I've started to take for 2025, I think we're up to 12 already for 2025. At the council meeting last Monday, made the announcement that to submit your applications, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all last week, we took applications all week, all day, got pictures, put that all together. We hit 40 really fast. As soon as we got to 40, I did have, put out, that it was overwhelming, thank you, and we're going to start looking at 2025. Of course, we did not put in the budget, so we will have to make amendments going forward regarding that, but we do have a list going already, so I would encourage, and we will certainly put a placeholder for that in the budget. And then I'm just working with, we still have a few pictures. The families were giving pictures, some weren't clear, some we couldn't scan, they couldn't read them at Signorama, so we're working on all those logistics of all of that to make sure that we get the best picture that we can have for the banners and going forward. So
So we've got plenty of time for those to be prepared,
yes,
though,
yes.
before.
So it's the 16th today, and I'm hoping that we can be ready to go, banners printed maybe May 5th, so that Gary Carter won't be, out there on the 31st of April, or of May, hanging out every 40 banner and getting them up. So I want to have plenty of a cushion for
Okay.
that. So.
All right, good. Glad that took off so quickly. Next item is the lucky squirrel.
Yes, and John can, if you want to just get a quick update, John's been working, he's our main guy for the squirrel.
Thank you. As of now, May 18th, it's full.
For all three?
Say again?
For all three?
May 18th.
Oh, okay.
It's 100% full. The July date is 75% full, and then the September date is 85%, I think, 85% full. So we're on track to have a full event and be ready to go.
Okay.
There's a list of the income, so as to date is of April 10th, actually, the date on it is incorrect. But the financial portion is correct. So you have it in information. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, John. Next item is street sweeping.
Yes, when I was meeting with Gary about the downtown and the condition and all of everything that he's doing down there, he had requested that we also to see if we could get assistance in street sweeping. The city uses progressive street sweeping already on our city streets, and so I did make a request with the DPW director to see could they do maybe 3 swipes at Ford Road and Ford Road and Middle Belt to kind of pick up all of the gravel and all of that to make it look a little more well kept. Also, Gary said that he could get it. He got it done last year. He got somebody to do a lot of the street thing, but there was nowhere to dump it. And then the dumping fees are what really, I guess, get the street sweepers, I suppose. Where do you put everything you pick up, kind of deal. So we did get that quote of $1,600 a sweep, and then also that DPW would assist us and put an arrow board behind the truck so that there is safety for the sweeper, and then it would comply. We do have a blanket permit to work out in the state and the county roadways anyways, but it is safer to have the arrow board, and it's a requirement of their grant that we protect whoever is out there working on our behalf. And so he did say that he would have a staff member do that for us. So
Okay.
How often do they do this?
it'll be done 3 times
And
throughout the year.
okay.
And which line item would that come out of here in the?
It would be
in the budget?
contractual, the 801.
Okay,
So we have 51, I think, in there.
yeah, 51 in there. Okay. All right, that's great. And next is the vehicular accidents and repairs.
Yes, I just put in your packet, just so you knew what we were doing, and John did all of the legwork. I just did the submission to MMRMA, because at that time I was working as the city clerk, and we put it all together. And this was, of course, the high dollar item was the knockdown of the pole. And so I put that in there. It doesn't require any action because the costs are covered by the MMRMA minus our deductible, but we have to have a check request, send it to them, and then we'll get reimbursed by MMRMA. One of the good things, at least is I think good for MMRMA, good for us, is the person who hit all of that had car insurance. And so MMRMA in turn will go after their insurance to recoup. So it will help keep our premiums down because they're not, MMRMA isn't out covering the cost. It is their car insurance.
Okay.
So all of that was submitted at the time for reference to MMRMA. But I just wanted to let you know that we're working on that. As soon as they get the check, they'll do the order and get working on the repair. The walls are done. The bus stop got fixed actually by Gary did the bus stop, and just trying to put back all the pieces.
Is that
were
the last
damaged.
piece?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The light.
And the light, like, we approved that previously, so has that come in now and they can
Well,
move
we
forward?
have to send them a check before
Oh.
we do anything.
Okay, all right.
So,
Do we know
If-
how long that'll take before it gets here? The light?
he was saying soon. As soon as he
Okay.
gets checked, they'll get it ordered and get it going, so.
Okay.
If our insurance gets their car insurance to pay, we'll get reimbursed for our deductible also, won't we?
I'm not sure. Like the mini tort law, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because if they go after, I would assume they're gonna go after them for the full amount of the 18,000 plus, which would be $1,000 of our deductible. I would think we would get it back.
Well, plus all the other repairs that we've paid for, right? The brick repair and,
Yes,
you know, whatever Gary, you know, had to bill for what he did.
yes.
Okay. All right. Does that close that out then? All right, next is public comments for general non-agenda items only.
Right across from Garden City High School, and we found out that the alley is in horrible shape. It's actually could be like a hazard. We're wondering if we could simply ask the city to fix the alley, if it's possible.
Oh, Mark, would that be something to attend a council meeting for? And, because,
Well, maybe, first, can I have your name, sir?
My name's last name is
And you're looking to purchase a building across from,
Actually, we're in the process.
is it the apartment complex, Maplewood Apartments?
No, it's actually a plaza.
Oh, the plaza, okay.
Yeah, but we're looking to move some businesses from like the Dearborn area, Dearborn Heights. And we would like our people to not feel like they had moved to an area that is not that much updated, if you don't misunderstand.
All right.
And we've seen what happened with Dearborn Heights in the past, how it got developed to the better, and the city had played a big role in the fixing roads and stuff like that. And I think Garden City should be the next city for them.
After the meeting, just if you'll come, I can get your name and phone number. I'll give you my card also. DPW handles that. The DDA really doesn't have any say in how the DPW works or kind of the repairs of the alley. But I can get you in touch with the DPW director, and I think I know where you're at now. Because I know there's a dumpster in that alleyway also, and a neighbor has,
Well, someone
I know the lady who lives behind there. She doesn't like that dumpster, so I know where we're at.
want to like shape up that road.
Sure, oh,
and
yeah,
make it
sure.
nice and bring good businesses in
Yes.
there, so, yeah.
Sure. Yes, if you want, just on here, thank you.
Sure. Okay, anyone else for public comments, non-agenda items?
I had a couple of things. I wanted to know if there's been any talk about painting the rest of the streetlights since the new ones came in black. The other ones are green. In the gateways to the DDA, and also the street amenities, trash cans, the benches, if they're going to be painted to match the black, the new streetlights. The other thing, I had a meeting Friday with the conference of Western Wayne, and the mayor of Ladonia was there. And I think that us as a city, not just city council, but the DDA, the planning commission, all of us need to pay attention to what Ladonia is about to do. They are actually reinventing their downtown. They're creating a downtown where there was not one. So if they can create it out of nothing, think what we can do since we already have a good head start down here. It's just a matter of thinking differently. So their downtown's going to be at 5 Mile in Farmington. Their initial project is coming in at about $22.5 million. They have garnered $20 million of that from grant money and other sources. It's not coming from the city. So that money is out there to do these projects. It's just got to be looked for. And but again, looking at the master plan, or as Mr. Miller was talking about, the housing stuff like that, we're actually putting housing down there. They're going to be putting retail in there. And it's really absolutely amazing, so I would urge you guys to check into that. And the last thing I did want to mention real quick, and to correct Mayor Jacobs, the former DDA director did not sign a contract for the new building. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Next, we have director's report.
I think I'm talked out.
I think you covered
The
almost
veterans
everything.
banners really took off, so I focused a lot on that, so.
Okay.
But I hope we can get everything out and look nice for everybody that's
Yeah.
involved.
I
Great.
have a question for you. The veterans banners, is that something we pay for, or whoever's putting like the picture pays for it?
We voted
we
at the
paid
last
for all that,
meeting
right?
that the
Okay.
DDA was
We
going to
voted
cover
we
the
paid
cost
for it, right?
for
Yeah.
the banners. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next, we have board comments. Do we have anything from you, Mr. Bazzi? Dr. Nazardine?
No.
Okay. Randy?
I'm good.
Okay. Lori?
Yeah, I do. Hey, Mark, could you tell me, did you check references on any of the other attorneys or just Kelly?
No, just Kelly. The other, there, as you said, three out of the 6 were too expensive. One we already know about, and I did not check on the other one.
Is there a reason you didn't check on the other one?
No.
No, you just liked Kelly and that was
Yeah.
it?
Yep.
And did everyone at this board actually read these? Because I'm
did.
usually early, and I talk to people coming in, and anytime we've had things to read, I can tell you that almost every single time, everyone I have spoken to didn't have time to read it.
Actually, I read it and I made notes
He
on
did,
everyone.
and I was surprised.
Yes, actually, I made notes on every one
was
of
excited
them.
that someone actually read something. So did everybody else read it? Just be honest, please, be honest. Did you read it?
So when you're
Does it
looking at the
really
DDA
matter?
experience.
It does matter. It matters. Did you read any of these? Just be
First-
honest.
First, I did. Second of all, it's not of your concern if I read it or didn't read it.
Well, it's the point that
It was read.
every time that we're voting on
It
something.
was read. You're assuming everybody did something and you want it done your way.
No, not at all. I
Yeah.
just asked if everyone, because I've spoken to you before about something, you didn't read it. He
Yeah,
didn't
there
read
is
it.
things, yes.
Spoke to both of you on the way in for something else. And it was the same thing down the line. And as soon as Mark Jacobs says, we should go this way, I'll agree.
Is there an
And they
issue?
didn't even read it.
Is there an issue if you trust your mayor?
You know what? It's just a point I'm making.
Okay. Anything from you, Alex?
Nope.
Okay. Mike?
No comments.
Mayor Jacobs?
I'll comment. I read them all, and I didn't feel a need to check the references of the one that I thought was probably the 2 or 3 that I thought were the best. One was too expensive, so I eliminated that. And the other one, I went and checked a reference of somebody that I knew and trusted, that I've dealt with. No, I don't get, I haven't talked to anybody about any of these, anything on this agenda. So for you to say that just because I recommend something, I think you're wrong. But that's your opinion, and that's
I'll
good.
agree with you.
Apparently, you're the lone wolf, Lori. I don't know what to tell you. You know,
I'm the only one not afraid, that's it.
yep, you're the only one that has,
That's not afraid.
yep. That's all I have.
Well, that's inappropriate. Okay, so I just want to thank you, Matt, and welcome you to, your new position here. I appreciate the work that you did on the banners, from jumping right into it. And with that, if we have no other items, we can call for an adjournment.